When you came up with the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the championship to make these guys, I mean, they got to put a lot of effort in to get from level to level to level to level. When did you come up with that thought, and when did you, I mean, what really made you think about that? Because it is a lot different than all the MMA shows that are out there.
Sure. Well, in its infancy, it was me sitting around, like really in its infancy, it was me sitting around as a young kid with my dad, who was a boxing fan. And we would watch guys like, and these names may mean nothing to you, but guys like Danny Little Red Lopez and these great fighters who never really became big crossover champions, but we would watch them on ABC television when boxing was back on network TV. And I can remember this as a kid, and they would fight 10, 12 grueling rounds, and they'd be bloodied and they'd be bruised. And at the end of the fight, their arm would be raised as the guy who won. And before they thanked mother or trainer or sponsor, they would scour the audience for the promoter. And I can remember it as a kid, watching these guys scour the audience and look for the promoter to scream out, "I deserve a shot at the title." And I can remember being a kid and turning to my dad and saying, why he just won? Why does he have to ask? He just won the fight. Doesn't he just get, like, as a kid, it was hard to understand, like every other sport, you'd win the final game in baseball and you go to the World Series. Or in the NBA, you finish that game 7 and boom, you're going on to the NBA Finals. Or you win the AFC Championship game and you're in the Super Bowl. You don't have to ask anybody. You don't have to wait for a guy in a shiny suit like this to say, "You know what, Giants, you get to go this year. We've chosen you to go." So it was just, as a kid, I can remember thinking, that's weird. That's theatrical. That's a guy sitting behind a desk deciding who fights who for what and when, and these guys are out there putting their lives on the line. They're giving it everything they got. They should just be able to win and move on. And that was the genesis of everything I was thinking about when I formed the company. It was not having girls dancing on poles like the old Elite XC days or making team concept like the IFL. It was, how do you structurally change the very foundation of what we've accepted as fighting sports so that fans have a choice? And I'm not suggesting that what the UFC does is wrong, because I enjoy watching a lot of the UFC fights, but how do you make it real sports competition? How do you make it honest to goodness, objective sports competition? So it doesn't matter if you got great hair or crappy hair like me, or if you're married to a supermodel, or if you've been on a reality show. All that matters is when that door shuts and they lock it behind you, do you come out with a W or do you come out with the L? And if you come out with a W, you get one step closer to a shot at the world title. And it's that simple. Doesn't matter the language, doesn't matter the backstory. And that's where it all came from. That was the genesis of the whole idea of applying a structure that seemingly has worked beautifully for generations in baseball, football, basketball, soccer, hockey, golf, tennis, cricket, any sport you may choose, and applying it to what I think is the greatest sport in the world, which is MMA. And that's what we've done, and it worked.
What would you like to tell the fans out there?
Just tune in. Keep watching these spectacular world-class athletes.